If you're joining my live for the first time ever, welcome to my space. Today we're going to talk about old money, new money, understanding the digital economy. Actually, what I'm going to try to do today is really start at a very, very high level, like strategic level, and I'll make sure to land it in a way that is more relatable to your business. Okay. So pardon me. As a strategist, I used to serve executive, like I used to do all of these things. So I'm going to start really from a very, very high executive level, just give you a view of what's happening in the world, the global shifts happening in the world, old money, new money, and then what's going on with the digital economy. I won't go too deep, but let's just go with me. So good morning, good afternoon again, and good evening, depending on where you're joining from. Again, this is Toyin Umesiri, founder of Nazarum, the Trade with Africa Business Summit. I serve as a leadership and success coach, so I'll just keep that short. Today we're talking about old money, new money. Okay, here's what's happening at a very, very high level. There's a major shift in the world. Okay, there is a major shift in the world. And what's happening is that the world you and I were raised in is going to slightly look different, or even depending on which sector or which region of the world you're living in. The world as we knew it, right, was created to function a certain way, right? Those who made money in the old economy, right? That money is still there. People are still making it money in that space. But again, bear with me. I'm going to start from a very, very high level and then land that plane. Okay. At a very, very high level, the world as we knew it or as we know it is changing. The ground is shifting right under us right now. We hopefully you're feeling the pain, and it's a drastic shift, right? So old money in my mind, or the way I want to use it within the context of today's topic, and hello to those on Instagram and other platforms as well. Welcome. Okay. A lot of people made money in certain ways in the old economy, in the old world. That world was created by people you may never know or never have touched, or maybe you know a few of them, right? And in the last 30 to 50 years, certain regions of the world benefited from certain ways of making money, industrialization, all of those things, manufacturing. You know what I'm talking about, the real economy, as we call it, right? There were also some fluffy things done. Wall Street, all of those things, insurance, like the world that is normal to you that you were raised in was normal because some people created that world. Monetary funds, all right? That was created. I think what usually happens is that most people don't really sit back to realize that everything that you know that seems to be true to you, everything you're experiencing, was created by somebody in somebody's imagination, and they work together to create the world as you knew it. And right now, some new people are showing up to disrupt that world and create a new world order. That's what I'm talking about. Okay? So everything that was put in place, everything you knew to be true, everything you were taught in school was created to function in a certain format. Currency exchanges, just institutions. The institutions that were created in the last 50 to 100 years, they were created to function a certain way. Okay, I hope that one has landed. My point is new structures, new ways of business, new infrastructure, soft, hard, digital, is also being created by a different mindset. And a mindset created the last, hopefully you've looked at this generational thing, baby boomers. There were major shifts in the world that created the last world order, right? You remember the wars, World War, blah, blah, blah. It affects mindset. COVID is also going to affect the people being experiencing the world today. We are all now thinking differently. I hope you know that the way we think, because of what the last 2 years or 18 months has been in the world, it's a major disruption. Not just disruption that you say, okay, external. I'm saying inside of us, we have been disrupted. Okay, bear with me. Just keep going with me, okay? Bear with me. If you're joining, please let us know where you're joining from. Again, today I'm talking about old money, new money, and how you need to understand the digital, like understanding the digital economy. It's a major shift, more significant than maybe some people want to admit, particularly the people that, benefited from the old world. That money is still here, okay? But like I said, major global or even regional transformation usually shifts how people think about the world, right? Like those who were raised, let's say during the war, they tend to think in terms of hoarding and, there's lack, right? They think in terms of lack and nothingness, right? And then you had people that were raised in the emergence of industrialization, manufacturing, agriculture, mass production. They tend to think in terms of abundance, more, 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 more. Let's create more of everything. Let's mass produce, mass distribute, mass, right? That world also did something quietly behind the scene. They sucked resources from different parts of the world. People like we as our demand for more, more, more keeps, we can't keep up with that. So let's suck in more people, right? The old world. I get it. But what has happened, it's been happening slowly. And for some of the work I did, even in strategy before retail, for right, as far back as 7, 8 years ago, was already predicted, right? COVID really just accelerated all of these things. So as far back as 7 years ago, we already had data that said by 2020, we actually had that by 2020, 40% of purchasing power in the US, I'm here in Chicago, will be largely controlled by Generation Z. We also had data that the workplace was going to look different because that generation thinks differently. They want different things. They've seen their parents, right, experience certain things. Their parents were stuck, busy building that old world order that they prioritized work over family. And a lot of the kids that experienced that missing parent at home, that nurturing, they are thinking differently. They don't want to repeat what their parents did. There's data around this thing, so dive into it. That generation is largely responsible for this moment, and they will build the reality of the future. Now, there are still some things that we should be putting into place to create oversight. And I think those things is what would probably mess us all up. Is that there were certain principles that the old world was created under largely. I'm not saying there aren't negative principles. I'm just saying transparency, like honesty, trust, integrity, community. Like there were certain principles that, foundational principles that the old world was built upon. More so than not, maybe 80-20. In this new world order, I'm using that phrase, pardon me. Those things, mm, there will still be, but I think we're going to have less of that. Because there was a certain generation that wasn't built on those foundational principles. I'll drop that right there. Because the more I dive into it, you say, Toy, go. That's my internal intelligence. So a lot of the things that I do is we take in a lot of data, right? You process it and then you make recommendations, right? You make projections, you think about the future as a futurist, as a strategist, and all of that. So that's I'm trained in that. Now, you can do this for yourself, but here's what fails. There's several steps that if you're not careful with data, I'll talk more about that when I talk about structure. Let me drop that as well. So I'll put some things out there, I'll drop it, I'll put another thing out there, I'll drop it. Why? I want to leave you to process your own data and make your own conclusions. Okay. I don't want to feed you everything in terms of what I think or what I've seen or what I've experienced and what I know and what I'm predicting. Okay. So again, old money, new money. New money is this idea that as this new world order, these new institutions, new things are popping up. This shift started not just now, the last 20 years, internet, all of those things, is that there are new ways of making money. that even those who made money in the old world, they can't even believe it. They can't phantom that all you have to do is dance on TikTok and somebody will okay. That all you have to do is put an NFT and you become a millionaire overnight. They're like, what? Like, and I was busy spending 30 years building that manufacturing plant, hiring people, distributing products. And now somebody can just wake up and do the same thing in, like overnight. Like, that doesn't make sense. Yeah, it doesn't make sense in the whole world. Right? It doesn't. And the truth is, when they were also building that old world, I bet their grandparents was like hard work, like muscle, go to the farm. And they were like, no, we're not going to do that. We will build a new world order that works for our mindset. You guys were raised under, the depression and all of those things. So you think in terms of walk, walk, walk. No, we want a little bit more freedom. Let's create the enterprise. Let's wear suit and tie. Let's organize people under infrastructure and buildings. I will create desks for them and we'll tell them to leave their homes. They'll come to work, right? And we pay them and we'll give them pension. And then pension went away and then we'll give them 401k. And then that world was created. Because before that world, you grow your own vegetables in your backyard. You have your own chickens, right? You have your own stuff. You feed your family. You do trade and barter, and everybody's happy. You have chicken. I want this. We exchange, right? And then from that, we went to everything. If you're 50 year and under, everything you've known is what I'm saying. The old money. Many people benefited from that structure, the structure of the enterprise, entrepreneurship, the big thinkers, mass produce, mass distribute, retail, wholesale. Everything was organized to function, to create in mass and distribute in mass and consume in mass. More, 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 more. Fantastic. That word is still here. What I'm saying is that there's a shift. Very, very, very. It's now, I think people can feel it now, but that shift has been happening gradually, gradually, gradually. So the new money now, old money used to be new money at some point. The new money now in our era largely disrupts a lot of the things that used to be. So let's just pick one that you and I would see all over in terms of the workplace, right? People talk about the shifts in the workplace. Yeah, this is common sense, right? The old world, you were told, leave your family at home, come to this physical building, we'll give you a desk, we'll give you whatever things you need, and we'll put you to work, and you would give us your productivity, productivity, productivity. It's either you're in the front line or you're just keep producing. What do you need? Right? 3% raise, this, right? That's what was sold to the parents of Gen Z, right? So, conversations around benefits. There were certain things that could have been done better in that old world, and this new world is fixing certain things, but this new world will also creates its own crisis, I suspect. There's it's almost like a trade-off, right? It's a trade-off. In that old world, you have a new baby. 6 weeks later, 8 weeks later, you have to immerse yourself back in that world. Like we created that, people. We created that for ourselves. Like there's no heart. Like it's like the machine. It's either you're on that machine producing or you're out. That machine didn't give people in between. So there are conversations today as people has been exiting that old world in a little bit, in mass. All of a sudden, people are like, "Oh, how can we make people more happy?" No, you lost that chance. You lost that chance. People are now craving, like, "Oh, I can dance on TikTok," right? People are now looking for alternative means to say, "You know what? All those things we were sold, there must be something better out there." Right? People are thinking life has been disrupted. So remember, depression era created a certain mindset. People who came about that was like, industrialization, mass production, agriculture in mass. Because before you would cook your own food and feed your own family and your nucleus, right? And it's like, oh, mechanized farming. Phew, we can produce for the whole entire community and ship it from this Florida to, right, Idaho, right? That was created in the last, should I say, maybe 50 years plus. I don't know, right? What I'm saying is that with the awakening that has happened, there's now a major, major shift. The flaws of that era has bubbled to the surface, and largely it's around how people were managed and structured. Like they were actually, in a way, in a funny way, structured like machines and robots. But humans are no robots, and they've been reminded that you can choose a new way of feeding your family, of living your life. You can choose a new life of impact. You can have fun while making money. You don't have to do those things if you know how. So I don't want to. There are some things I won't go too much into that. I'll just stop there and then shift it quickly to you and I today, the digital economy. Okay, Kabalaji, hey, Toyin, glad to catch you. Thank you. Thank you everyone for joining. Okay. So what does that mean to you and I? What it means is, number one, take back your power to decide. Number two, acquire new skills. Number three, shift your mindset, right? Because I know I said this maybe earlier this week. Today's Thursday. So the skills you were provided when you went to school. Remember that school, even the education system was built around supporting that old world order. The enterprise, the way buildings and companies were constructed, the academic world was structured to support that. It was like, what skills and talents does this machine need? Accountants, lawyers, this. Fantastic. Today, you're talking about the creator economy. In this new digital economy, we need creators to keep feeding people and keep people on the, the digital platform that we're going to be buying and selling. So, creators now, do you guys realize this though? Do you realize it? That the creators now are the producers of the new economy? Because what we're doing, we're creating content and keeping people engaged in that. Without creators, you go back to your old life. Without anything entertaining or educating or sustaining you on all these platforms, we all go back to our boring old life in our small villages and wherever you are. So creators, influencers are the new producers. We are producing content. The world before, we create pen, we sell you pen, we create t-shirts, and that world still exists. But the creators are now going to be the most powerful, influential people in the world. Why? Because we can hold attention. Our power and our ability to hold that attention has always been the commodity. So in the old world, how did they make money? They will advertise on TVs, on radio, and all of those things. Advertisement always follows where attention is being created, right? So the internet is a platform, and it's a dummy platform. Really, it's what you build on it and what you put on it, whether it's a website, whether it's content, whether it's Netflix, whatever you put on it, it's just a platform. But we are all, including myself, that's why I'm saying I'm bringing this back home for you. It's like we now have opportunity to create our own digital real estate. Some people in the old world, and still today, like my house, we buy physical houses, we live in it. Today, I have you. I'm just putting this out there. I have my own real estate, digital real estate, several of them, and I'm renting it out. Come and join my membership. I will rent you a room. Some people in that other world, they created one, lux resorts and physical structures that you will travel all over the world to visit. You pay them the hotel, and then they take your money. In today's world, join my membership, please. It's a digital real estate. I'll take care of you. I'll teach you. Okay, I'm laughing again. I told myself I was not going to do this. I will be more serious today. I'm talking about something serious, but no, that part has to. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me distract myself by reading a comment here. Maybe that will calm me down. Okay. Kopolaji says governments are shifting to accommodate that. For example, the UAE they launched a freelance visa because creators freelancers will add to the economy. Thank you. Let me read that again, just in case people missed that. It came from YouTube. And please subscribe to my YouTube, okay? There's lots of content there. And I'll be sharing more. Said governments are shifting to accommodate that. For example, in the UAE, they launched a freelance visa because creators, freelancers will add to the economy. So that's it. So it's just, I know sometimes people that are so used to the old world, and this is where mindset, how you think about where you were raised, the community that raised you, what they told you, how the world used to be. That was the reality. I'm saying that in the new world, all those things people do, oh, looking down on creators, better become a creator. You can don't snub us, don't snub us. We are the new producers in the digital economy. If you're watching me, I'm producing something that interests you. Before, TV stations, the operas, they got our attention, and then advertisement followed them. So if you're watching and you're a mid, come and advertise. Okay, this is how it relates to you. Know your options, acquire the skills that will help you win, adjust your mindset, and get to work. It doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but you put all of those things together. Now, let me put a caveat, like not disclaimer, but here's what I try to do. There's the old world, old money. That money is still flowing. That word is still true. There's a new world being created, and we're somewhere in between. And I would say, we're very early in the emergence of the new world, but it's going to go really fast, really fast. It's going really fast, right? Things that will take 10 years for adoption, right? It's now taking 2 or less. So the old world is still there. The new world is going in. The early adopters are jumping in, NFTs, blockchain. We saw this coming I even wrote some articles, PowerPoints back then to like 8 years ago, right? As a technology strategist for the world's biggest, right? Anyway, so we saw this is not a surprise. It's just like what happened with GPS, so navigator, right? That technology has existed for a long time. Airplanes used to use it, satellites used to use it, like GPS, right? But what happened, the major shift that happened was adoption. It went mainstream, where you used to then have that GPS on the dashboard of your car. The technology itself has existed, right? But it was expensive, right? And it was being isolated into government and aviation and missile defense and all of those things, right? That same technology was extracted and sold. Like everybody with a car should also have a GPS, not just a plane, not just a satellite, right? And guess what? Then that went away. We all then made that on our phone. So you don't even need to buy just a standalone. So what I'm saying is that certain things we're seeing today that is going mainstream has always been around. People have been designing this for maybe 20 years. They've been thinking about the future of the world. But now what is happening is adoption. And the new as you continue to adopt it, you will need to relearn, unlearn you will need to rethink, right, what you think about that new world versus comparing to what you were prepared for. So the school you went to again, you were raised to function and make money in the old world. Accountant, we need you. Architect, we need you. Doctors, it was arranged to support that. In this new world, new skills that even schools have not prepared for, right? So I'll tell you what I'm doing in my academy, okay? what I've realized is that I understand the old world, I understand the new world. I'm watching it as it's growing, but there are things you have to borrow. So for me, I'm borrowing from both worlds. That's my own ideal. Because you don't just want to discount and say, oh, the old world is not relevant. No, 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 no. They are still very much, they are here. Your water bill, right? Your mortgage, your insurance, that was put in place as we manufactured more cars were driving on the roads. We moved from horse carriage, right? We moved from that, we moved to cars. Cars were driving so fast. Now we need to put insurance. If you eat somebody, then right? That those things were put in place to manage what the old world left us with, right? And those things, policies will keep emerging to support blockchain. You find some government saying no, yes, no, because their central banks, they weren't prepared for it. They weren't created to support NFT blockchain. Currencies, e-currencies are like, the way we design currency, dollar exchange, this dollar, right? Now they're trying to figure it out. Governments are trying to figure it out because the old was designed. You travel, you get visa. Now you're like, you don't even need to, right? Traveling has gone down. Now we can even just 100%. That's what I'm saying. Is like so many shifts are happening, and people are gathering right now, figuring everything out, designing the future. The question is, what role are you going to play? How are you going to perceive it? Are you going to snub it? Talk bad, right? You're like, keep that up. The people who snubbed the old world did not benefit, right? The grandparents that were like, you mean you want to go into a factory and right? Those grandparents that were like, why? I don't under why do you want to create your own farm? Why not just feed your family and live happily ever after? And the kids were like, watch us do this, right? The same thing is happening. So I'm just trying to say, don't snub what is going on. Creator is the new producer. That's the tweetable. We're living in because the digital economy, for it to thrive, requires creator. It cannot thrive without creators. Because the hunger you guys have for content is unreal. Like insatiable. Scroll a bit. You can scroll TikTok, addictive TikTok. People can forget their life and keep scrolling. Now, metaverse, right? It's because people's appetite for virtual spaces. Now, in the real world, okay, there are certain things you can do, like to balance yourself. I live in my real world. So some people are also struggling. So the new world, remember I said that the new world is also going to create its own crisis, right? Some of it is we've seen the rise in depression because we do need to touch people, we do need to be in community, right? So how do you design those things, right? The old world has its own crisis, right? That was silently destroying families, where women going into leaning, they were leaning in, and it has serious implications that nobody wants to talk about, right? Women are the ones exiting that old world faster. Why? But nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to talk about it, right? It's the reason for me. I did my time in that. Nobody wants to talk about the real stuff, right? Nobody wants to. Nobody wants to, right? It's choices, the choices we make. You now have a choice, but you need to acquire skills. You need to adjust the mindset. Okay. I'm trying to move away from because that is a sensitive topic, very sensitive, right? And it's really particular to women. Women suffered in that old world big time, big time. And women will rule in this new world. You know why? We know how to create community. We know how to serve. We know how to serve. Women, this is your time. Take it back. What this new digital economy needs, women are super equipped naturally. Empathy. Because in that old world, which kind of empathy? You tell your boss you want to take care, they will tell your baby, go back to that work, right? You for your kids are sick, you're like, how am I going to tell my boss? Like, people became slaves of that dollar or pound or whatever. They lost their identity. And those are the flaws that the last 18 months with COVID, where people had to stay at home, they're like, I cannot bring myself to go back to that old world. Like, no, there's nothing that old world can offer me right now that will make me wow, right? That's what's going on. Let's talk. Let's say the real stuff. If people want to admit it, right? But anyway, it's touchy for some people. But anyway, so in the new world, you are the boss. I'm the boss. But I have to acquire skills. I have to know how to engage, how to build communities, how to care. In this new world, you have to care. You don't care, nothing for you. So the natural skills of women, people want to know. People are not just buying a product anymore. They want to know that you care, right? And you care enough to make their own life better. But anyway, I won't talk today. That wasn't the topic. But let me bring it another step down to entrepreneurship. Here is what is still going to be fundamental. So some people, they are becoming creators, but they don't have the fundamentals of entrepreneurship. So they are seeing what's happening, but they don't have a strategy. So whether in the old world or the new world, certain things still has to be true. You have to produce something that somebody has a demand for. It's a principle. That's what I'm teaching in my entrepreneurship and leadership academy. Okay. The principles still remain the same. You can skip platform, you can skip processes, you can skip structures, you can switch them out. But the principle, the fundamental principle that will still work for you if you understand it, is still a certain type of mindset that you have to produce something that somebody else wants. What that thing is, it could be water, it could be anything. Nobody gets to decide. You decide that. It's the laws of demand and supply. The laws, it's the fundamental laws of demand and supply. Follow the demand. What are people demanding now? Find it, sell it. Find it, sell it, produce it, find it, sell it, distribute it, mass produce. And in order to do those things really, really well, those are the principles I teach. And over the next 12 months, I'll be empowering people with those skill sets. Beginning this month is my leadership success coaching. Again, you have to think differently in this new way. You have to act like a leader. You know why? You know why that is important? In the old world, should I say it? Did you feel like a leader when you became an employee? Did they tell you you have to lead your own destiny? No, there was something inside of you you had to outsource to oh, is that what certain decisions were being made for you. In the new world, you cannot blame anybody for that life. It's going to be you and you. You can't outsource that responsibility. So you need to start thinking about leadership. You have to lead yourself. You have to lead your like a lot of people who haven't been in leadership position and they want to build a business and they're like, somebody will come and help you. No, you're on your own. So you have to become a leader. You have to become a leader in this new economy. Otherwise, nothing. So I'll be teaching on that. Success mindset. You have to know that everything that you need, you are responsible for going out there and getting it for you. From an employee mindset, you just sit down and your bank account is just kick. You don't even care. You don't care. It's just like kick, and then you're spending anyhow. Like, oh, designer bag, design. I like nice things too, right? Look at my coach earring. I love nice things. Trust me. So I know that world very, very well. You don't even think about it. Used to be every 2 weeks. It's just like the moment you hear, you are like, man, you are spending that money. In today's world, as you're building your enterprise, that thing must wait first. Okay, I'm started laughing again. Sorry, let me distract myself. I think when I go into my laughing mode, it's too funny for me. I don't know if you're joining me in laughing. I have to quickly shift to catch my breath. Okay. Kubalaji says, I did the exercise you recommended yesterday. Okay. Kubalaji, she's one of our members, right? So we had a session yesterday, and she said, I did the exercise you recommended yesterday, and yet again, it was eye-opening for me. That one-on-one session was invaluable. Thank you. Thank you. Uh I tried. So yeah, please tell them. Okay, I think I need more people to be out here telling other people what they've experienced when they work with me, right? So yeah, I know who I am. I know my gifts. I know what I do. I just need to tell more people, I guess. Okay. Thank you, Kalbalaji. Yeah, just keep at it. Be gentle with yourself. It will take time. Mindset shifts, mindset adjustments, embracing the new champion mindset, winning mindset, success mindset. It's like we have to reprogram ourselves, right? In going from wherever we're coming from to where we're going. We've been programmed. I even this morning I spent time attacking something in my mind. I'm telling you. So it's a lifetime, because just like the Bible says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. In a positive light, it is true. So if you train a child to think and function a certain way for good, is for their benefit. Unfortunately, coming along those good training, there are some damaging programs. Now, as you mature, it's our duty to debug. I used to be a program, so we used to say debug that code. Look for the malfunctioning. Somebody has written a code here that is making this program malfunction. Is that the person we will be if we're 100% the way God wants us to turn out? Where's the gap? What caused that gap? Like that person that God will be like, that's my baby, that's my child. Like, show them that person. If that person hasn't showed up in the world today, there's a gap. And that gap is now your responsibility. Nobody's responsibility to correct and adjust. I took that thing on head on. Even this morning, I was still like, boom, boom, some things will just flash. You'll be like, nope. You have to start investigating, like what do you call it, magnifying glass. Like, that's one thing I've now trained myself. Anything that doesn't feel right, I'm like, where did that come from? What's the source? Why are you thinking that way? Who mirrored that to you? Right? Who projected that to you? Why you believe? No, 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 no. That's their problem, not my problem. That's their issue, not mine. Delete that thing. Delete it. I'm telling you, I'm fierce. I'm fierce. Like, this stuff, you've got to want it. You've got to want it so bad, right? Because that stuff will fight you and you have to fight back. You want an example? What example? I don't want to put my full business out there. I'll generalize. Let me give a general thing that I've seen to be true for most people. Your family of origin. Touchy subject, right? Your family of origin functions a certain way. True or false? For good, or like, here's the thing: you have to be ready to handle polarity. So if you're a member of my community, like my membership, one of the things I'll probably teach as well, I've taught people before, but polarity is the fight of the day. Handling polarity, our minds and brain wants to say yes, no, true or false. The mind doesn't want to say yes, yes. Like, two opposing things can be true at the same time. Like, your family could love you, yet not love, because we just want this simple. And I know I don't know for who. I don't know who just came on that needed this, right? So sometimes I sense some shifts, right? We're talking about old money or new money, but let me just say, sometimes you were raised under the old economy and there's a new economy somehow, and your father or your mother is telling you to become a doctor, and then you are saying, I want to become a creator. Good luck with that. You fight your battles. God help you. Sorry. Okay, no, I'm laughing again. Okay, good. Let me come back home to what I was trying to say. Family of origin. It functions, it talks, it communicates, it shows up a certain way that you've been programmed to believe is how the world is. No, it's not how the world is, it's how your world is. Okay? Your world is different from the world. We are all sharing planet Earth together, right? So your world, your village, where you've traveled, where you've been, has given you a visual, right? That is true to you. Now you just have to disrupt it and say, okay, do you want it to continue to be true? Because there are different thoughts and ideas out here in the world. Some people that didn't buy into that weren't immersed in that world, they are living somehow. Like I always joke, I'm like, some people are living on an island with a computer, making living large, right? It's a belief. They believe they can do it and they are doing it. Nobody can believe that thing for you. You have to believe it and you have to create it, right? So your creativity has to come out. And the world you're trying to create that you see inside of you, your family of origin may not never have seen that before. What would you do? Courageously create it or shrink back to where you are? Like, come back, get set. Anyway, it's a hot topic. These are things that in private sessions we run through. Because publicly it's like, mm, mm, like, are you ready to go there? Men and women, it impacts when men and women. So some men would think this, trust me, trust me, right? Your ideal, oh gosh, this is too hot. Your ideal picture. Anyway, no, I won't touch that. It's too hot. Okay. I'm getting myself back in shape. Okay, anyway. Thank you so much, everyone. So, structure. What happens to be true in the old world and the new world is that structure. Without structure in either world, you're not going to grow. You're not going to be able to expand. You're not going to be able to scale. Your foundational structure, whether in the old world or in the new world, is still required, right? I am a certified SAP consultant. I've been certified since 2006. So for more than a decade, my full-time job was creating structure inside of the world's largest corporations, right? Implementing softwares, the largest software in the world, a German software, SAP, that created structure, finance and controlling, procurement systems, sales, right? HR, right? Real estate, plant maintenance. Why? Because the bigger you get, the more you have to manage. ERP, it's called an ERP system, right? Enterprise Resource Planning System. So everything that enterprise has absorbed to function, to run that machine of more, scale, scale, scale. As you're trying to scale, the only way you can scale is if you have structure. The only way you can grow is if your foundation is strong. Because if you want to build a 100-story building and you start building a foundation for 1-story building, the moment you start, it will crush. You can't absorb more. You can't take on more responsibility. You can't. You're stretched. You're stretched, completely stretched. So whether in the old world making money, they knew that principle, right? They abided. In fact, that's why they structured the entire world around supporting that infrastructure. Insurance, right? Because if this doesn't exist, then we can't sell more cars, right? And if this doesn't exist, the government will regulate us. And if government regulates us, we can't make more money. So let us put this in place and tell people this story so that we can do this. Oh, banks want to make more money. Then let's start borrowing money. How can we borrow more money? Let's tell people the American dream, you need a home. When more people buy more homes, we can borrow them more money and then we can charge more interest rate and 30 years, 15. And to support that, we need more accountants crunching the numbers, actuary, scientists, these scientists. We need statisticians, economists measuring. That world was created. And it was created and structures were put in place to keep it standing up. Because without that structure, everything crumbles overnight, people. Without that structure, it crumbles. And guess what? The new order is disrupting. That's why when you think about GameStop and Wall Street functions. This is how we buy stock. GameStop said we won't follow that principle. Like the Reddit speakers were like, we will choose what we want to buy. We won't even read the financial report to decide. We just say that stock must go up. We group ourselves, we say da 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 da, we buy it, the value goes up. They are the one we are living now, that those structures that were put in place to keep the integrity of the old world, that's what things are going after. Oh, CBN banks, treasury functions. I have a book called How Money Works. I have a book. Go and look for that book, How Money Works. The treasury systems, how the world was like, this is the bill, this is blah, 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 blah. Guess what? Blockchain. No, we will share money ourselves. We will not go through the central bank. And the central bank is like, what is that? That defies everything we put together. Yeah, watch us do this, man. Okay. Oh, Kabalaji just said they are not ready for that conversation. Thank you. We will, little by little, right? We'll be dialing it up. I'll be making this utter and utter and utter until people get because if I just put it all out there, the shock factor is too much. The shock factor is too much, right? But this is it. This is how I think. So when you see me do all the things I do, you see the output, but you don't know. Even me, I'm part of creating that whole new world. Not just a creator of content. My words is creative. My word carry weight in certain. Oh, in fact, new announcements. Every single day, something is happening in my world. Uh, I'll be teaching Africa economic something something. Um, I just totally switch. That's what happens for me. Like, so bear with me. You get used to this. Hopefully, sorry. It's like, and I want to say it seriously. You see what I'm saying? So I'm trying to transition myself. I'm trying to go from fun towing to and towing is being right. That's what I'm trying to do. That's why I'm taking that pause. Okay. So yes. Anyway, part of my own influence in this new economy, okay, part of it is entrepreneurship. A lot of the people attracted to the work I do in entrepreneurship, they are minority, right? So this is for you. It's not that I don't speak to other people, but there are several things I do for certain communities, right? Entrepreneurship is primarily, at least what I've experienced, is that most of the people that need it that I'm speaking to, because they may not be listening to other people saying the same thing, but you listen to me, maybe because I look like you, I don't know. There's always that factor, right? But there's another community I serve, which is more governmental, institutional, all of those things. So I'll be teaching, speaking to, like, in partnership with Illinois SBDC, International Trade Center, Women's Development Center, right? About Africa. So that's a strong part of the work I'm doing in the new economy. Even me, okay, I'm influencing that. I'm saying in that new world, Africa carries more weight. You need to educate yourself. Many people still don't understand. I was reading an article this morning and people don't understand. I'm like, not just Africa. So when I say Africa, okay, people need to understand Africa is a geographical space. The real message there is Africans. Because people will just say Africa, Africa. I'm like, keep saying Africa, Africa. Africa is just a land. If Africa will emerge, it's because Africans are the ones driving it. Oopsie, right? Right? So keep it up. And my message is, if you want to be a leader in that new world where Africa emerges as the next economic frontier, who is going to reap the reward? Right? China has created more millionaires and billionaires in the last 30 years of their existence than in the last 200 years of their existence. Old money, new money. Old money, new money. So when people say Africa, this, Africa, that, I'm like, keep saying Africa. I will join you. But my own ulterior motive is who is going to lead That world, that El Dorado, who is going to benefit? Who's going to create new money in the new Africa? Africa is just a landmass of opportunity. It's a geography, it's a map, African map. The people in it, if that region of the world, right, booms, who reaps the reward? It's a question. The people who design the world or the people just still questioning it? I'll leave you to decide. Okay? That's why I'll tell people take my master class, they will not take. I'll say, there's a way you will make money in that new world. It's nobody will tell you until you invest in acquiring that skill set. As that region of the world emerges, what you know and the skill you have is what will determine what you can how you can participate. So I'll stop that today. So anyway, sign up for my leadership entrepreneurship and leadership academy, or and and the Nasaru International Trade Network. Those are the two. So so for people who follow me, right, I have to also explain to people because I have so much going on. This is not all I do, right? um Kobalaji said, and Africans are all over the world. Yes, and they can be still all over the world and still participate. I am here in Chicago, right? That's what I said. The digital economy functions differently than the old. So the old way of what you think you have to do, or who you think you have to be, or where you need to be to participate in global opportunities because of the global shift, you have to rethink that. Some people will be saying, there's a debate. Should I, within the diaspora community, should I go back to Africa? We should keep that debate on. Is that the question you should be asking? I don't know. I don't know. I'm sorry. I try not to judge anybody. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Like, one of the things commitment I say is like, I don't like, I try to understand people's circumstances, the world. I try not to judge it, because guess what? When you judge, when you put on a judging mindset, you cannot serve in a judging way, and you cannot participate in opportunity if you're always judging, right? Think about it. It's a trick. Let me quickly break that down. Many people are not participating. Many people did not participate in the old world, old money, because they judged it. Many people will not participate in the new economy. Oh, NFT, it's just a coin, it's just a this, it's just a stone, it's just a picture. Keep judging it, oh, right? Anything you judge and anything you think negative about cannot reward you. You cannot benefit. Any space that you look down on, you've eliminated yourself from the opportunity being shared in that room. Oh, this government, keep talking negative. Nothing for you here. So that's why I've had to train myself to catch myself. I'm aware. It's not that I'm naive. Many people think, oh, Tony is so smart. I'm like, I'm so smart that now I laugh. Right? That's my own. That's what I've replaced judgments with, is humor. It's my secret weapon. So when you see me laughing, it's because in the place of that, I could have been judging you. I decided no. When things you judge, you cannot participate, you cannot get rewarded for, you cannot serve people you judge. So I'm like, we will laugh together. Let's laugh. I laugh at myself. Let's laugh together. That laughter is a better medicine. It lightens the weight, it lightens the responsibility, and we get to enjoy the process of doing something better. So anyway, that's that's where I think that came from. I'm even I'm assessing myself and dissecting and trying to even understand my new behavior, because I now laugh a lot. Because I know so much. I know so much about the good, the bad, the ugly of all those things, right? And I don't share it, but now I'm sharing little by little. Like, I know too much. Trust me. I know a lot about a lot. I go into spaces that I'm like, they don't know I'm here. Right? And because wisdom, you need to apply wisdom. Wisdom doesn't need to scream, doesn't need to shout. In fact, wisdom sometimes is hiding in plain sight. You need to hide in plain sight, because You'll be exposed to certain places, you'll be brought into certain places because you're wise. You're wise enough to behave like nothing, nothing. And I think because I do that so well, many people underestimate me, and that's okay. That's also part of the plan. Okay. I just put some things out there that we'll see. So thank you everyone. In wrapping up old money, new money, don't judge it. Seek to understand it, study it, explore it, test it out. If it works for you, fine. If not, find something else that works for you. Remember to build structure. That's what I help people do because I know without structure, you cannot scale, you cannot build something significant, right? The reason I can come and spend time enjoying my time now is because the last couple of years, all I was doing was building structure, right? All that was all I was doing. You wouldn't find me. I was too busy building my structure, putting structures in place. So now I'll send you into my structure. I've developed my real estate. So now if you want to participate in the new economy and what I'm teaching and how I'm connecting people to new opportunities, you will rent a room in my digital real estate. See what I'm saying? It's all how you think about it. In the old world, people were developing real land. That's fine. Buy how many houses, right? But in my mind, because I have a technology background, I'm like, whoa, your website is your digital real estate. But guess what people are not doing? They're not investing, they're not developing it. If you want to know more, reach out to me. I offer one-on-one personalized coaching, group coaching, and individual courses as well around entrepreneurship, leadership, success, and international trade. This is Toyin. Call me Coach Toyin. God bless you. That's a wrap for today. See you again and enjoy yourself.